We do saddle ourselves with this like burden of we have to tell everybody's story, and even with calling ourselves South Asians and not Indians, yes, if there are diverse people in the room that are more than just Indian, then of course we should be inclusive and say South Asian. But I think it's also just become this almost like dirty word that we don't even say Indian, even though, and that's why I think it's good that it's called Indian matchmaking, because it is primarily, it's in India.
Yeah.
But do you feel like our community does that to ourselves more than other communities do, or we're just like, well, never have I ever, and the criticism is like, well, that's not, everybody isn't upper class. I'm like, well, actually, because we are immigrants of choice, and because 1965 and all the racism before, and that perpetuates even to this day, we are fairly homogenous. I mean, what you're seeing in Never Have I Ever is largely the experience. Why do we do that to ourselves then? To like carry this burden of like, well, it's not inclusive enough.
Because we've waited so long to see ourselves reflected, and it's easy for me to say from my perspective, that, oh, that's not fair and that shouldn't be this way, and why are people, why are we sort of pointing the gun at ourselves, when we're just trying to be the first. But if you're, like I get to be the first in line, right? Like we get to be the first in line to have our experiences reflected in pop culture, in the mainstream. But if the people who don't see themselves, but who consider themselves part of that community and who have waited just as long, if not longer, and who are facing real harm, because of lack of understanding of who they are. It's painful. I get it. I totally get it. I think it's again a thing to address systemically as opposed to point fingers at individual creators.
And I think we're guilty of that. I think we do that. Like, oh, it should do this, and I'm like, you do have to understand that like this is the way the wave works. The majority is going to get represented first, and then minorities later, which is that's just the number of stories. We're just looking at critical mass, and then there will be other things. It's in stand-up comedy, it's very similar. You have Russell Peters is the first person who broke through. His comedy is very broad. He'll be the first person to tell you that it is. It's stereotypes and it's voices, and that's going to be the thing that gets amplified first as an introduction. Then you get like an Aziz Ansari, you get a Hassan Minhaj. That's going to come later. The first breakthrough can't really be in any community. It's going to be George Lopez, and then later you'll get someone else.
And there's always exceptions to the rule, but I will say like also those of us, anyone who's like the first to do something, think about who we're talking to in the room. Often like we have to get clearance, and from the 60-year-old white guy,
from white males,
who's sitting on top, and I still feel this every day. It's like we have to sort of message things in terms that they understand, just to get anything made. It's really hard to get something made in this business. It's really hard. It's nearly impossible. And I think like those of us who have had that early been able to like open the door, like we have to hold our foot in it, and so we can have more and more diversity. So I think it's just the beginning.